Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, this is Naaman with the DC Camp of Great Millstone, back with another video. And today, first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Shimei Mashab, Shem Rakah Kodash. And of course, once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to send salutations out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across the four corners of this earth. Well, we're trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect because time grows shorter and shorter. Can't stress that enough. All right, so it's not the time to be on that fence. All right, but I'm sure to address what's been going on lately, I'm sure everybody's heard about the arrest of P. Diddy and the indictment. Oh my goodness. But here we are once again. This is Judge Joe Brown. He's on the Real Dana show. All right. He's going to lay it out. And it's something he said I didn't really think of, but you got to consider the timing of this. All right. This be an early October surprise. Just something to think about. So let's go ahead and roll this. And remember, because I'm going to play a video clip of this guy. This also is going to illustrate how Jake having means and getting, that swollen head syndrome, not realizing where he's at, all right, in terms of he thinks he's above the curses that are upon our people because he thinks he's, again, has the means that, meaning the money and the power. He doesn't think he's like everybody else. And I'm going to play a clip, all right, that he's going to say that in his own words. So let's go ahead and roll this video.
This was breaking news during the show, and I was not going to interrupt the show for this. Yeah. He was arrested and he was placed in federal custody. Sean Diddy Combs arrested in New York City amid sex trafficking investigation, and battle rapper and hip hop musician Sean Diddy Combs were arrested in New York City Monday night amid a federal investigation and sex trafficking allegations. Any details here? Combs were taken into custody at the Park Hyatt, New York, by Homeland Security Investigations, which typically handles sex trafficking probes. It was not immediately clear Monday what charges.
Time out. Homeland Security does not have sex trafficking in their particular portfolio unless it's international. Otherwise, that's FBI. I commented on this when they they searched two of his three homes. Why was Homeland Security doing it instead of the FBI who was present? Something else is going on here. They're probably trying to silence him during the course of this election because he knows something very damning about somebody. That's
got
my
the goods
guess.
on somebody.
Okay.
What they seized was very minuscule, and it looked like recordings of things that might incriminate certain persons. After looking at the downloads for the three laptops that Hunter had, not one, there were three of them. I actually got to read them. A great deal of what's going on in Florida. I won't say anything about that. About the documents had to do with the fact that the documents were quite damning to the Obama-Biden administration. So, yeah, I bet that's what this has to do with here. He knows something on some people who shouldn't have been where they were.
So it says, it was not immediately clear Monday what charges Combs is facing. He is expected to be arraigned at Manhattan Federal Court Tuesday morning at which point the indictment with the charges against him will be unsealed.
He should have, perhaps he should have stayed outside of the country since he went to an island
He should have.
on a
I think
private
it's
jet that did
maybe,
not have an extradition arrangement with the U.S. government.
yeah, unless his lawyers convinced him not to run because he feels as though he's innocent. He might as well be. Because if you run, then that looks like guilty, even though you may not even be guilty. You just know you're not going to get a fair trial. So it says earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on sealed indictment filed by the SDNY, U.S. Attorney for Southern District of New York. We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we will have more to say at that time. Combs has also been accused of long pattern of domestic violence against former partner Cassie Ventura. She sued him in November, and the pair quickly settled. But a distressing video of him assaulting Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016 recently resurfaced, prompting a new round of.
That's another thing. 2016. Going to show you if they really want you, they're going to use whatever they want to get you. No matter the time restrictions or anything like that. All right. That's why we try to stress not to have any faith in this devil's laws, because that's what he is, a devil. All right. Now, I'm not quite sure. I didn't have a chance to look it up, the statute of limitations on something like that. But, like, damn. But, like the judge said, something else is going on here, because Homeland Security. Oh, I also found out that the way they've restructured things, Secret Service falls under that also. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And you wonder why they're having the problems that they're having now, because you got people, and this was confirmed, certain Homeland Security officers were taking like rush courses on how to, you know, do what the Secret Service does. And I'm like, no, come on. You know, man.
Backlash. And you should never gave her the
There's
money.
one problem that's irrelevant because that's not a federal crime. That's a state crime. So how do the feds get in it? See, there goes your press again. That has nothing to do with reality. The feds don't have jurisdiction over those kinds of cases. So why are they even citing that? See, that's a red herring. That is just bullshit. That's not a federal offense. So why are they?
Combs' Beverly Hills mansion was also raided by Homeland Security 6 months ago. It is unclear what the agents were looking for during the March raid, but is believed to be part of the sex trafficking investigation.
Well, you know what else? I commented when it happened. He had two properties. He had one property with two mansions on it in Florida. One's right next to the other. They only searched one of them. Why? In other words, it sounds to me, from my experience dealing with criminal law and that kind of thing, they had something in particular they were looking for.
Right.
And they didn't expect it at one place, only at the other. See,
So-
but I'm surprised they brought that up because that has absolutely nothing to do with any conceivable federal offense.
Salakia for this. Here we go again.
Here are the winning numbers for the DC.
That's
Let me ask
exclusive.
you this. So do you think that he's going to be prosecuted like R. Kelly, just to be out the way?
R. Kelly got prosecuted federally under the Mann Act, which was how the FBI got.
Well, that's interesting that he said that, and that's what I was thinking. I heard from someone else reading the indictment. Yeah, I said to myself, yeah, the Mann Act, because he, you know, and that's something to consider. If you ever pay someone, a woman, whether that's her profession or you're bringing her across state lines from somewhere else, hey, that can come back to haunt you, like what's happening here. Now, it seems like he had bad intentions from the start, but that's how they got Jack Johnson back. And in fact, that's why that was invented. All right, from what I understand. I may be wrong, but I know they used that against him back then, the Mann Act, because he was with, he liked so-called white women. And they didn't like that. So, as a tool to get Jack Johnson, but that's been on the books ever since. But in any case, this is why we tell you, this is why the scriptures say, because you got to understand, we're underneath and ruled over by people that hate us. All right, so it doesn't matter how much money that you have, all right, how much power you think you have as a result of the money, all right, we're still under the curses here. And he has stated, like I said, that to be so. You don't have to worry about that because of who he is. In fact, let me go ahead and play that. Because everybody's thinking, what are you talking about? Now, this P. Diddy said he is free. Here we go.
Do whatever the fuck I want to do, whenever, however the fuck I want to do it. You know why? Because I'm the freest nigga in the world. Right. In the discussion.
There you go. Let's play it back.
Do whatever the fuck I want to do, whenever, however the fuck I want to do it. You know why? Because I'm the freest nigga in the world. Right. In the discussion.
Let's do that again.
Do whatever the fuck I want to do, whenever, however the fuck I want to do it. You know why? Because I'm the freest nigga in the world. Right. In the discussion.
There you have it, from his own lips. Probably not thinking that way now. But this is why we tell you, I'm thinking of scriptures. I'm thinking of Matthew 6 and starting at 19, and Luke chapter 6. Verses 24 through 25. Let's start with Matthew. This is the one. This is why, even when Yahweh Shai was talking about, with his disciples, and they asked him about, showed him the coin, he said, well, whose face is on it? All right, give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Well, let's go down here to Matthew 6 and 20. It says, but lay up. Let's start at 19. It says, and this is lay up treasures in heaven. All right, because despite what the churches and everything tell you, that prosperity doctrine bullshit, and that's just what it is. It allows your oppressor, and in this case, something else, and I think it's in section 3 of that indictment, they're going to after him for everything that that was gained from, I think it's 2009 up until now. So you're looking at a 15-year gap there. 15-year span, excuse me. They're going to try to take everything he got to break him. Something's, like I said, something that they're not telling, It says, lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves, who is the thieves, break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where, and this is where a lot of people in the upcoming times, when they press for that certain device to be implanted, it's where a lot of people are going to falter. It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, your mind. All right? That which ye value most. And this is how this devil is going to come after all of us, ultimately. But you got to ask yourself, for all these people, some idiot years ago made a bumper sticker that said, he who dies with the most toys wins. What kind of fucking shit? You're dead. And there's a scripture for that, Man. Let's see. Luke 12 and 34. Let's see. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Okay. It says, and here's it goes. It says, obvious, I'm looking at the commentary down here, though his maxim be, by what multitudes who profess to bow to the teaching of Hamashiach Yahushua, is it practically disregarded? Here's the point. What a man loves, says Luther, quoted by Tholuck, that is his God. And ultimately, that's going into Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. That's the point. When you go to, let's see, is it Exodus 21st chapter, where it talks about the Hebrew slaves and how to deal with them, and that's what that's about. Because remember, what the Most High does in the spirit, this devil, all right, has to do it carnally through his science. You know, that's the left hand, all right? So you're going to have to make that decision, and that's what this is getting down to. Who is your God? He's going to use the things that you think are so valuable, even those that are your family and friends. All right, it's just not limited to physical things that you can buy. All right, that's something to think about. I said Luke. Let's see. Right. Let's see. Because people like Diddy here, that's their mindset. That's why I played that video. Let's see, 24. It says, but woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. And I'm sure they've got him in custody now for the last few hours or so. Or has it been a whole day now? I don't know. You know, who knows what's going through his head now, but he knows that if someone suggested also, he might do a Nino Brown. Because something they're not telling us. And like I said, the timing of this is mighty suspicious. 26, woe unto you when all men speak well of you, and they did. All right, at least in public. All right, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. All right, so that's applying to us out there on the highways and byways, but in general, yeah, people like this, because why? He has those means, all right? And unfortunately, people like him are used by our enemy, and this is who Jake listens to. Someone else also suggested all you had to do was make your music. All right, if you were married, make sure all that's taken care of. But chances are, since we're under the curse, that the woman would go off. But in other words, why did you become a deviant? And this is something else to consider too. There's more to this. He didn't learn this on his own. What about these executives? What about all these other people? Like I said, he might be doing a Nino Brown. All right, from New Jack City, you remember? All right. And others have suggested that he might, be the next Epstein, because something, like I said, he got something on somebody. Now, let's continue this video. They're going to go into it a little bit.
They got created to set that up so they could get Jack Johnson specifically, which they did. Now, whether they go after him for the Mann Act about something crossing state lines is one thing, but I'm still at kind of a loss as to how Homeland Security gets involved in this unless it's international trafficking.
So once he's arraigned, that means he made bail.
Well, what it means is they'll probably have something set up. They might have a bail hearing, bond hearing on it. He'll have to enter the plea and we'll see. And as you pointed out, he didn't stay abroad, so he's not a flight risk. So actually, he's probably qualified for release on his own recognizance, promise to pay to show up for the disposition.
I saw that indictment. They considered all that, and that's why they're saying nope. They want him to stay locked up. Again, going back to this is where it's working against you now because of the means and his access. All right, and they're fearing for those who might, considering that he also had arson was a charge, and firearms use, and they're worried about he may go after witnesses.
So they say he's expected to be arraigned in Manhattan court Tuesday morning. What does that mean?
Arraigned means you're just formally charged. You are hereby charged, sir, with the offenses of, cite the code section, how do you plead? If he doesn't say anything, the court will automatically enter a not guilty
Yeah, so it
plea.
hasn't been a day
His
yet.
lawyer, if he has one, which on his income level, I'm sure he does, will stand up and say to the defendants, Your Honor, the defendant pleads not guilty to all counts of the indictment.
Mm-hmm. And will
Then they'll set or defy motion. Usually
I'm sorry.
have 15 days from arraignment in the federal court to file motions.
Where you said they're set of what?
What I said was, is if they haven't agreed upon it already, there will be a bond set or a bond hearing, considering that he did not flee and he had ample opportunity to go and stay somewhere else, which he did not, and that he has economic ties extensively with the country. He would be qualified for an ROR, which is release on your own recognizance, without having to post a bond. That's not the same as no bond at all. That's on your particular word that you'll show back up, not what they're doing these days of just release him without the recognizance thing. The recognizance thing is the same as when you sign a traffic ticket. You're not admitting to guilt, but you are agreeing to appear in lieu of your physical arrest. So when he's brought into court Tuesday, what will happen is that the charges against him will be read and he will enter a plea. His lawyer will probably stand up on his behalf and say he's pleading not guilty to all charges. If he does not say anything at all, the judge will enter a not guilty plea on his behalf, since he's presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Just standard American law. There will be a report date set and a likely setting of dates to file motions. There may be a request for additional time, since under federal procedural law, when it applies to criminal matters, you have 15 days from the point of arraignment to file all your motions unless you get an extension in time. Considering what is likely to be here in the extensive details, there might be an extension of time granted to file the motions. Maybe not, depends upon the circumstances and the judge.
What if he pleads guilty? Do he stay in jail or
He's not going to plead guilty. Not going to plead guilty on the first one, because under the federal system you cannot plea bargain. What you can do is bargain for what offense you enter a plea of guilty to, and what you do in the federal system is you talk about caps. In other words, this offense has a 5-year cap, this one has a 10-year cap. And that's all you can do. Your Honor, the defendant is pleading out to count 1 of the indictment, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years, or minimum, mandatory sentence of 5 years. at a maximum under the circumstances of 15, and then that relies upon the sentencing report, and he seems to be a first offender. So he would be presumed appropriate for the minimum sentence, which would be 5 years. Let's assume that that's what you have. The 5 years would be 60 months, and he would have to serve 56 of those 60 months before he would be released from federal control. There is no federal probation nor parole except for minor offenses for youth. Or minor offenses. Geithner, who was Treasury Secretary, pled guilty to defrauding the government of $28 million in income taxes. He got a 6-month probationary period and a $42,000 fine for misdemeanor offenses, not felonies, not failure to pay income tax, but over
28 million, and he only had to pay 42,000. You see how this shit is rigged for them? Now, I'm not defending Diddy by no means. Don't take this the wrong way. Whatever, you know. But it just shows you how, like I said, this system is built for them. And here it is, you got Jake that's, because of his pride, just went through the roof. I mean, his head, oh my goodness. But he, you know, he being brought down low. Let me get another scripture here, or scriptures. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach 5. Let's go to 1. It says, set thy heart, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. All right, skip down to 8, and it says, well, you know, I go and read through because all this applies to him, and I'm sure at some time he's heard of the Israelites. All right, it says, follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Clearly, this is one of the reasons why he's in the situation he's in. All right, he's heard what that little speech he gave, or a little snippet from what he, you know, the whole thing about him being free. So he, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Most High will surely revenge thy pride. Is that not what's going on now? Whew, that man. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Most High is long suffering; he will in no wise let thee go. Really, that's what he thought. All right. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin to sin. Clearly, he did not. All right. And say not, his mercy is great; he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. Make no tearing to turn to the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Most High come forth, as he's finding out. And in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance. 8. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten. Remember I said they're coming after him from everything he earned through criminal enterprise, RICO and all that, from 2009 up until now. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. And this last one, I always attribute that to also this devil, these Edomites, in that day. Remember this verse for him, because all he's gotten is through what? It's ill-gotten gains. But right now we got to focus on P. Diddy. So yeah, I mean, like I say, there's things that we're not aware of that are going on, but back to the videos a little bit left.
We're paying them by $500,000. Wesley Snipes got 3 years in the penitentiary for failing to file a complete set of returns, 3 counts where the sentences were run consecutively. I testified during the proceedings.
Well, the
It was
Diddy,
down in
Well, with the Diddy case, we'll talk more about it when more information comes in. I'm interested to know what is in the indictment once that becomes unsealed tomorrow morning. So we'll just wait and see. All right, one more super chat here.
It may be international sex trafficking, but what the news media said is not a federal offense unless it crosses state.
Right.
And
Maybe
that's the man.
Maybe they're trying to connect the dots. Maybe they're trying to connect the dots to make it that if that's what the prosecutor's case is going to be based on, that means they have to prove they have to prove that it was interstate, state to state or whatever.
Well, yeah, but the other problem is Homeland Security doesn't have jurisdiction over what the press was talking about. That would be the FBI. So I brought it up when we discussed it, when it was contemporaneous. Why is Homeland Security involved when that's not part of their mandate?
Right.
It is for the FBI. The FBI was present, but Homeland Security was involved. Now, it's speculation at this point that usually when you have this interagency thing, they're trying not to tip somebody off as to what they're doing.
Well, 3 homes, Miami, New York, and LA was raided. And if they no, it was 3. It was 3.
No, that's not correct. There were 2 homes on the same lot in Florida. They only searched one.
No. It was. I'm talking about states. They did raid his New York homes. They raided his New York home. That wasn't all over, but they raided New York. They raided Miami and they raided LA. So it's 3 homes.
But the point is,
this is the point. Let me just say this. The point that I'm trying to make here. They raided New York, Miami, and LA. And maybe the prosecutors are trying to connect the interstate trafficking with those 3 states.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't be Homeland Security. It would be the FBI. The FBI was created to get grounds to set up the Mann Act. And that's why they got Jack Johnson, who was brand new FBI, was created.
Right. I get that. All right. So
why is Homeland Security involved?
So let me say this. So he was in New York with his kids, walking the streets, taking pictures with people, smiling. Did he know? He probably did. His lawyers do lawyers can they warn you you're going to get arrested today?
Well, see, what went wrong with that is, even with organized crime figures, what they tend to do, and see, this is chicken shit, the way they just did it, is ordinarily what they do is they contact the person's lawyer. They know who the lawyer is, or they know who the person is. Remember, they had an interview with him, and they say, we have an indictment. Would you please come down and surrender yourself by such and such time, Tuesday, on such and such date, and allow the person the courtesy of being able to make arrangements with a bonding company, and they'll usually discuss with the attorney what they're going to recommend to the court for the bond, for bail. So they didn't do that. If they took him into physical custody first, usually that's for something like bank robbery or something like that.
All right, well.
See, there you go. No respect. You thought you had it like that, right? Hey, so that's going to be it. Again, T. Diddy's done. We'll see. Like I said, something else is going on here that they're not telling you or telling us, but we'll see. They really wanted him. Like I said, chances are he's got the goods on somebody, and it has to do with, you know what, I don't even know. But he mentioned the Hunter Biden laptops, and that's not the first time I've heard that. Instead of 1, which everybody usually thinks, it was 3. So, again, but in any case, that's going to be it for this. I hope whoever views this, as usual, is edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter everything through the scriptures as it should be, because in the times that we're in now, hey, it'll behoove you to listen. Once again, I want to remind you of the power of prayer and fasting. So with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.